She abolished the system of hospitalitas and the administrative dualism of the earlier period and placed the entire administrative apparatus under direct Germanic control and established a new kind of state based on decentralization of authority. So these developments are considered to have led to the growth of feudalisms in Italy. However, the Lombardic kingdom was brought to an end by the Frankish ruler, that is Charlemagne, in the year 773 CE. So it was under Franks of Gaul that the fusion of German and Roman institution had the most profound impact, that provided the foundation of a new political, social and economic structure broadly termed as feudalism, which remained the basis of Western Europe's economic, political and social change for several centuries. So in this way, in course of time, gradually different Germanic states successfully made their existence in the Western Roman Empire after 5th century CE. As far as the feudal polity, society and economy of Europe is concerned, owing to the establishment of the Germanic states in different parts of Roman Empire, the new type of political, social and economic structure broadly defined as feudalism came into being and gradually spread to other parts of Europe, which remained for several years. So before elaborating these points, let us discuss in short the meaning of feudalisms. Feudalisms, in fact, was a combination of legal, economic, military and cultural customs that flourished in medieval Europe between 9th and 15th century. So, however, there is no common accepted modern definition of feudalisms. In the Marxist terminology, feudalism is an economic system of a mode of production where the surplus is largely generated by a subject peasantry and appropriated by the landlords. From the political point of view, feudalism was essentially a system of extreme political decentralization where the authority was parceled among the feudal lords. So in the context of society, it is defined as a hierarchical social order dominated by the aristocracy, where the individuals were bound together by the practice of loyalty and protection. In other words, the feudalism can be defined as a system whereby greater lords such as kings, counts and dukes granted land to lesser men to arrange for specialized military troops led by the knights. However, Perry Anderson stresses the point that feudalism was neither strictly an economic system nor strictly a political system. So its chief features consisted of vassalage, the fief, the partialized sovereignty, and thereby feudalism combined landlordship. So it has already been discussed that the feudalism greatly developed during the rule of Frankish state, as it has witnessed drastic changes in the field of political, social and economic structure during the periods. So the Frankish states were governed by a powerful monarchy under Clovis I, who established the Merovingian dynasty in 481 CE. But the death of Clovis led to the division of empire among his sons, which resulted in the bitter rivalry among the aristocracy. So as this conflict took violent forms, almost unable to suppress, led to the armed retainers in the form of service. These armed retainers were termed as vassus, which means one who serves. So this, according to F.L. Gunshoff, laid the basis of the growth of the system of vassalage under the Franks, which was based on personal service and protection. So the Merovingian dynasty was later taken over by Carolingian dynasty, founded by Charles Martel in 715 CE. Thus, under the Carolingian dynasty, especially under the rule of Charlemagne, the system of feudalism in Europe developed rapidly. Perry Anderson believes that the history of feudalism properly begins with the Carolingian state, as it was in the Carolingian state that the decisive steps in the formation of feudalisms were taken. So under the Carolingian, the chief elements of the decentralized feudal policy were monarchy, nobility, consisting of various categories of landed magnates, as well as the warriors or knights. So as far as the monarchy is concerned, or the authority of the monarchy is concerned, Charlemagne played a very important role in order to restore the authority of the monarchy. So therefore, to maintain the authority of monarchy, Charlemagne received the title of Holy Roman Empire from Pope Leo III. So he also kept the monarchy economically strong by sieging the Roman states into the royal states. Beside the acquisitions of church land, plunder, and tributes acted as additional sources of income. He also maintained the balance of power among the feudal aristocracy, military leaders, landowners, and the warriors. So he divided the empire into administrative units called counties under the trusted nobles called counts, dukes, and earls. So after the end of the Carolingian rule, the power of the monarchy declined all over the Europe. This was followed by the rise of autonomous states by the princes and the powerful local lords. However, in some of the places like France, England, and Germany, the authority of the monarch was restored due to the efforts of rulers such as Louis VI, Louis VII, Philip II, and Philip IV of France, King Alfred of England, and Henry III of Germany, respectively. However, owing to the weaknesses of the central authority all over Europe, during the period of nobility held wide control over the territories assigned to them. So this nobility in medieval Europe consisted of a hereditary aristocracy identified by birth, landed wealth, and participations in the warfare. Knights as a social category in the medieval Europe consisted of several social ranks. They were not a part of nobility until the 11th century, but played an important role in feudal political structures. Rural landlords was an important component of the feudal economy of medieval Europe, through which the landlords appropriated the surplus generated by the dependent peasants and ruled over the entire inhabitants of his administrative territory known as manor. Manor simply we can understand as the landed state or territorial unit originally of the nature of the feudal lordship. So consisting of a lord's land and of lands within which he has a right to exercise certain privileges, extract certain fees, taxes, etc. So the three main components of the manor were demesnes, that is the lord's land, vergets, that is the land of the dependent peasants, and elotes, that is the land of the free peasants. So the peasants of the manors were subjected to the seigneurial dominations of the land. The serfs had to perform forced labor in the lord's land. Apart from the surplus and rent collected from the dependent peasants, there were other taxes such as teli, the tethys, along with banalities. So banalities, in the sense, it is an exploitative monopolies over the services of the manor. So the agricultural productions in medieval Europe during that period was organized through the manor systems. So in the initial phase of the feudal economy, there was an agrarian expansion caused mainly by the introduction of new technologies such as introduction of heavy wheeled plough, adoptions of three-field rotation systems, and use of horses as the draught animals. Such agricultural improvements brought about an increase in agricultural productions during that period. However, the demand for luxury goods and gradual increase in monetizations raised the monetary needs of the lords. Therefore, the landlords converted the labor rent into money rent. So therefore, another important development of the 13th century was decrease in the size of lord's land, as the landlords rented most of their land to the peasants, keeping a small but fertile portions for themselves. So on the other hand, the conditions of the peasants deteriorated due to the high rent in money and decline in the productivity of land caused by fragmentations and excessive use of land. So thus, increase in the money rent rendered many peasants landless and led to the creation of a class of hired laborers. Therefore, in conclusions, we can quote the opinion of M.M. Postan, as he argued that the feudal aristocracy took away nearly half of the total produce of the dependent peasants as rent in money, which was a very high rate of surplus extractions of the period. Thus, this, along with food shortage and natural calamities, brought about a crisis in the feudal mode of productions in the 14th century. So, this is all about the feudal polity, social and economy in Europe from 8th to 14th century, though in a very brief manner. Hope you all will enjoy. Thank you very much.